Hi Flosstube friends, my name is Catherine and this is my channel Stitching in Costume. If you've never been here before, welcome first of all, and it's nice to have a new guest in my sewing room. And if you are new, so this is where I talk about my crafting, and it's mostly cross stitch, I'd say 99.9%, and that is what is really bringing me a lot of joy right now. I do have a little bit of quilting from time to time and some crochet, and I also make costumes. So I kind of pepper things in throughout my videos, and you're going to see that if you go back and watch some of my previous videos, you'll get a feel for all of the other things that I do. And if you are a subscriber or you're returning, just to say hi, welcome back. I'm really happy to see you back. I know there are a lot of great Flosstubers out there, and I'm really grateful that you are spending time with me today. So let's jump in. I'm going to talk a little bit about a life update. I usually don't do that, but I'm going to just throw that in as it pertains to my stitching, which most of the things I do in my life do. This is what I try to carve time out every day to do, is to stitch. So I had COVID, which a lot of people have had COVID. It's not, that big of a deal, but it seemed to really, this was the first time any of us had it, and we all got it. So it started with our son, who we think picked it up with band practice, something like that. It didn't show up as COVID. It felt like he had stomach issues. So we were thinking he had food, poisoning or a stomach flu or something like that. So we were all exposed to him for a couple of days until he tested. He's like, maybe it's COVID. We're like, all right. We're all vaccinated and boosted, so we didn't really think anything of it. And it turned out he was positive. So his girlfriend was visiting at the time. She came over to our house. He has a separate apartment in an outbuilding that we have. So she came over here to quarantine, and she was masking, distancing. She came down with it the next day, and then sent her back over there, and then I came down with it. My husband came down with it. So all four of us at the same time. It was not fun. It was awful. So anyway, I got through it. We all got through it, and but it was about 10 days of me not wanting to do much of anything, and so I get really I feel sorry for myself a lot because I'm not one of those people that can nap easily, and so stitching is my go-to, I'm going to feel better kind of thing, and I just didn't even feel like stitching. So I've been trying to make up for lost time. I've been stitching a lot. We all feel great now. We're all through it, and I feel like I had a booster shot in a way, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to make it through the summer with no incidents, and we can go out and move about the world. So yeah, that was that. So that's my life update. Everything is good. The rest of it is nobody else got it. Our daughter managed to not get sick, and here we are. So boy, let's do the fun stuff now. Stitching. So since I've had a video, market happened. I have some haul I'm going to share later, because when I wasn't stitching, I was trying to feel better by doing some retail therapy. So there is some shopping that happened, and I have some fun things to share that way too. And I did manage to get some finishes done. So I'm going to talk a bit about that. The first thing I would like to do is to say some thank yous. So as a community, I want to say thank you to everybody that sent me messages through Instagram, or even like I finally posted. This is why I haven't really been posting, is because I was sick, and I got so many nice messages and, hey, hang in there, and, kind of things. And I really appreciate this community more than you can imagine. It just lights me up so much that we are also supportive of each other. I know there's things out there where people have had issues with people, but for the most part, 99.9 and more, everybody is great and very supportive. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody on Instagram, to everybody in the Flosstube community and stitchers in general, in the stitching groups that I'm in. I just really appreciate the the warm wishes. And it really does help. It helps a lot, you know, when you get some cheer from people. So thank you. And so one of the people I would really like to thank is Andrea Caffrey. Andrea is a friend of this community, and she is so generous and sent me something that really warmed my heart out of the blue. I got this beautiful pin pillow that she made me. Look at how beautiful. Kind words. And I believe this is a Not Forgotten Farms chart. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrea. I believe that's what it is. I don't know. It's beautifully stitched and so cute. The fabric on the back, I think that's a Blackbird design fabric, and it's kind of this periwinkle blue. I think it's coming across the way it is, and a little charm on the back. Make sure I don't have, that's not her thread, that was my thread. And she put this beautiful chenille trim around the outside. Thank you, Andrea. It sits in my kitchen right on a shelf next to a picture of my parents, and it just warms my heart. Every time I pass by it, I think of her. And in the package, she also sent me, let's see, it's going to be glary, but all of this beautiful chenille trim that she dyed. So I'm really excited about that. This beautiful card she sent. Look how pretty. I love the sparklies. And I'm going to pull some of it out so you can see, like a periwinkle, pink, pretty blue. I mean, great spring colors, nice neutrals. And look at that. That would be a good Halloween. And a purple. And there's a couple more in here. I want to show, like a beigey color. So I'm really looking forward to using some of this for some finishing projects. In fact, I have one I could probably put it on. So thank you. And it's so exciting to see stitchers, you know, reaching out and trying other ways of expressing their talent. And so dyeing fabric, this is how it starts, right? Little cottage industry kind of organizations or people that are dipping their toe into the water start off by doing things like this, and then the next thing you know, you can go on Instagram and say, me please, and get these great pieces. So I wanted to say thank you again. And I'd also like to say thank you to my friends from the Love of Stitches group in Sacramento. I got some nice messages from you ladies cheering me up because I missed our stitch in. I was all planned. I planned to go. I was going to make cookies, all the stuff, and I got sick, so I missed that one. But I'm going to go in April. I'm going to go in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited to go and have that stitching fun with my friends. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about my finishes. I'm going to start off with some fully finished objects. Now, these are things that I have started and finished since last you saw me. And I'm going to start off with the bunny I did. So I was watching, I think it was Kathy and Molly from Linen and Scraps were showing some free patterns. And one of them was, I think it's La Comtesse. I can't say it, but it's that one right there, and it's a bunny. It says Happy Easter. You can go on and download it, and it's free. And so I just wanted to do the bunny. I wanted to make a little chocolate bunny, so that's what I did. I just stitched the bunny, and I used a piece of, it's kind of a mystery to me. I think it was called Smoky was the color. It's a 32 count, and it said Smoky Belfast. And I used 2 strands of floss, and it's DMC. Let me see what I used. I don't have it written down. It was just a DMC brown that I grabbed at the end of a skein. There she is. And I made it into this little pillow, finished the back with the green. This is this silk ribbon that I had, and I followed a Vonna Pfeiffer tutorial that I will link below. and it was about how to do the ruching, which was probably a pretty fiddly part of the finishing. I was trying to do a quick version, and there's no really quick way about it. If you want it to look zigzaggy, ruchy, you know. It's not perfect, but it's on there. I just pinned it on, and it was done by Easter. So yeah, it turned out, I'm happy with that one. And then the other start and finish, I found this chart on eBay, Stitching with Sudbury, and it's Samplers 3. It's so cute. I love this. I love this too, the pin pillows. So there's different options in here, and there's DMC, it's DMC, and I thought, I don't know, they were fine, the DMCs, but I thought I would pull some other colors. So I'm going to talk about that. I do have, I'm going to move this way. You can look at my messy shelf. There it is on my red card. Okay. This is my finish. So I chose to do the small medallion, which is this one right here. And this is my finish. I put it in a little tart. This is my first tart finish. And that is the back. I found the tart at the dollar store. An orange bunny. And I had this ribbon, this silk ribbon, and I just put it in there and bingo bango, it's done. So what I did is I was at this is before I got, like right before I got sick with COVID. I was at the needlepoint store. There's one in Auburn, California. So it's like all needlework, all needlepoint. It doesn't have any cross stitch at all. But it has some Gloriana silk. It has a little bit of weeks. It has a little bit of gassed threads. And it also has quite a bit of Splendor silk. Now, Splendor silk is something I have used before. I really like it. It's very like fluffy. It's hard to describe. It's really affordable. I think it was a little over $4 per pack, and you get 8 yards, and it is 12 ply. So that is quite a lot of silk that you get with it, and it has good coverage. And I just picked a bunch of colors that I thought were fun. I like these colors, but I'm typically one that likes to punch the color up a little bit. I like to have I like a lot of color. I like a lot of brightness. I don't like crazy, but I do like it to be bright and cheerful, especially right now. So these are some of the colors I picked. And then I had just a white. It's kind of a white color. It's definitely white, creamy white. And this one is a Soie de Jais that I got from one of my other samplers. I have just a gold from that. So yeah, so that was fun. It turned out cute. It was pretty easy. I finished it probably in an hour or so. It took to lace it on. Now it's laced on, and I did use double stick tape so I can take it out, and if I want to reframe it or do something else with it, I can do that. But I'm pretty happy with how that one turned out. And this is on a piece of 35 count, and it was just a piece in my stash. It said iced tea on it. That's all it said, iced tea. So I got it on eBay a couple of years ago. I'm not even sure who it's by, or if it's by somebody that, I know typically. It might have just been somebody that had, put some linens on eBay that they had dyed themselves, because it's not something I typically would see, but it's kind of a beigey brownie. So there's those two. I have, this one was a start and finish as well. And this is for, I was watching Contented Needleworker Kim, and she was showing her start is stitch a pair in April. So I thought I'm going to jump on board with that. You know I am. I love to stitch pairs. I've done quite a few pairs, the Samplers and Santa's pairs, but I bought this because I really, really love the redwork pairs. I love the way they look. And this is by Annie B's Folk Art chart. Sorry for all the glare. And I chose to do this one right there. Let's see what I did. So the thread I wanted to use was pink because, you know, Kim loves pink, and I wanted to really honor Kim, think of Kim while I was stitching this. And I found a piece in my stash of Picture This Plus Alchemy, which is 28 count. I haven't worked on a 28 count in a couple of years, and I thought I'd never use it, but it's perfect. And I used 2 strands of this silk, and I think it turned out really cute. Now, is that the back? No. You're going to have trouble seeing it, probably. It doesn't really pop, but I like it. I think it looks really, really pretty on this bluey gray. Nice modeling. And I really, really love this pink. This is so pretty. Okay, this pink is called Carnation by Belsois. It's a silk. And I just got the silk on 1, 2, 3 stitch. And that's my finish. I haven't fully finished it, but that's next up. There it is. I know I'm showing it too long. I was very, very happy with my finish. So 3 finishes. Actually, there's one more finish. So 4 finishes. I'm going to throw this one out there. Okay. This is by Sambry Stitches. It's called Mary Calderwood, and I had started this last year, and I really love this colorway, but I decided to do it all in red. And I downloaded the PDF. I had a piece of, I want to say it's a 36 count. I don't know what it is though. All right, I'm going to show it to you. It looks like it's, I usually write on here, but I didn't write on the fabric. It looks like it's a Dusty Road by Seraphim. That's what it looks like. And that is my finish. I used Gloriana, I think this is Schoolhouse Red. 1 strand over 2 linen threads, and look at all those scary holes. I tried to block it like Katie Strachan showed, and I used these huge T-pins that are like nails, so but fear not, it's like far enough away. I like to frame close to the work, so none of that's going to show, but I learned something. In the future, I wouldn't use such a big pen. I could probably rinse this and dry it and then iron it, and those holes would probably go back down, I think. Linen's pretty forgiving, but I was pretty aggressive with the stretching process. Anyway, that is another finish. I might make this into a project folder because I've been making some of those, which I'm going to show you, and they're a lot of fun. Very satisfying, and then I could see it all the time. Okay, so those are finishes. Let's get into, I'm going to show you one of my project folders here. I'll just do them. Okay, so I was watching Elizabeth Ann Ken stitch, and she has some great tutorials on a few, like project bags, project folders. I think those are the only 2 projects that I have really, her tutorials that I've really delved into. So I had this Teresa Kogut fabric, and this is the first one I've made. And I learned some things about it. Let me just talk a little bit about that. I'll show you really quick. So this is the Stitchy Birds fabric. That was the front. There's the back. There is a magnet that goes under there to clip it closed. And the inside has the plastic and then a pocket right here. That's it in a nutshell. So what would I do differently? Gosh, well, I'll show you I have one more that I did. I would probably, well, definitely, I have issues with my bindings, like getting my top stitch to go straight. It feels like it wants to get all wonky. And I don't want to top stitch from the inside. Oh, there's just things about it I don't like. So what I did on my other one that I'll show you in a second is I hand stitched the binding onto the front. So that's what I did. I'm not going to get into the details, but she shows you great. Her instructions are fantastic. Her tutorials are wonderful. If you're looking on how to make these kinds of projects, just go check out Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. I will link it below, and you can follow her tutorials. She's wonderful. So that was one, and I have one more I'm going to show you. Now this, I've been collecting these like little Marie Antoinette, they're for quilting. It's like a fabric piece that I got on eBay. I can't remember what I paid for them. It was like 3 for $15 or something. So I made one with that. So I put that on a piece of batting or iron-on fusible, and there's strings hanging, but there's a reason why strings are hanging. I think there's a reason why. Yeah, there's a reason. I have stuff in there that has. That is the front. That is the back. I actually have a little stitching and costume tag, and there we go. That's one, and that's the inside. So what I did here is I made this part a piece of flannel, and I put a magnet underneath that dot, and so I can roll up my flosses and store them on the side. And this is large enough that if I am at a stitching not retreat, but well, a retreat or a stitching get together, I can just lay this out on the table in front of me, and this could be like my stitching mat. So I can have all my flosses lined up here if I want to use them, like off the skein, and yeah, and it still has a little zipper here with a pocket, and then it has a pocket on this side that I have a project in that I'm going to share a little bit later on. So let's jump in to my whips. So I've been working on quite a few things, even though I feel like my attention has been scattered and all over the place. I've been making bits and, fits and starts, tiny little bits of progress on different things. And let's start off with Consider the Lilies. So this is a huge multi-year project. I started, I think, last year. I saw Celeste Creates, I think, did a finish, and I said, I have to do that one. This is by Heartstring Samplery, and this is where I am on it. Let me tell you what I'm working on. So these, oh my gosh, these are all the flosses. I made a giant key that I could use to, but it's really enormous. Let's see where I am. Do I have my, okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm working on first. 36 count Sandcastle by Silk Weaver, and it's all the called for floss. There's quite a bit of it. They're beautiful, gorgeous colors. It's so nice for spring. And I did get the outline done. I've had that done for a while, and now I'm working on the lower part. So I have moved over to the center, and I got the house done. Let me see where I am here. Got the house pretty much done. I have just fill in on the doors, and I think the windows might get filled in, and all of the mortar. So I have all that to do, but that's perfect stitchy get together kind of thing because I don't have to count anything. I just sit there and fill it in. So I've been saving that. I did both of the vases on either side of the house, the peacock, and the flowers above the peacock over here. So, and I'm just loving it. I love this one. And again, it's going to take quite a while, but I really, really love it. Could I say that again? I'm going to be saying that about all of them. I probably put about 5 days into that one. So when I say 5 days, it's not the only thing usually that I work on. It's one of the many things I work on. So I might work on 2 things a day, sometimes 3, depending, I mean, in the morning I'll work on a bigger thing. In the afternoon, sometimes I'll come up to this room, my sewing room, and I will work on a medium-sized thing to a small thing. And then in the evening, I'm trying to really focus on things that are easier for me to work on in the dark, because I'll be sitting there watching TV with my husband, and I don't have the typical setup where someone will have their chair, their light, their stand, and I do like stitching 2 hands, so I can't do that when I'm watching TV. I have to, I have this TV tray that I have on my lap, and it's something I got at the thrift store, so I have magnets glued to it so I can keep my scissors, my needle, and all of that. And then I have one of the Halo Go rechargeable lights with a magnifier in it that I will put balanced on the tray. And then the way I stitch is I have a hoop that I generally have. It's one of those spring hoops that I can loosen up a little bit, so I could do the sewing method while it's in the hoop, and or I just do the typical stab and poke sewing, you know what I'm talking about. The typical way that you would stitch with a hoop. And yeah, so this is not really something that I can do in the evenings. It's something that I have to do in the morning when my eyes are fresh. So that was Consider the Lilies. This one is in this bag that I made, and this is for Brenda's big birthday sale, and it's by the Scarlet House. I know a lot of you are stitching this. It's called Martha Evans, 1879. I'm using all the DMC. Let me pull it out here. Oh, it's on my frame. So let's see here. I have been working on this. I haven't put a ton of work into it. I've been doing, I'll tell you what I'm working on. I'm working on Tephra, and this is a linen that is by Cedar River Linen and Design, who is Trixie Tricycle here on Flosstube, and it's on my roller frame. That's where I am on it. Not a ton of progress. I had issues. I'm telling you, these kinds of things, it was really hard for me to focus on that. I was still dealing with COVID, stuff. And I just couldn't seem to get it right. I would have to stitch it and pull it out, stitch it and pull it out. And I did. There's still like a permanent mistake in there that I just worked around, and it's all going to work out fine. It'll look okay. Nobody will know but me that I'm 1 stitch off on one of these branchy things. So trying to stitch forward at this point with it. Love the colors, and I love this. I can't tell you, this linen is absolutely gorgeous. If you have not tried the Cedar River linens, it's wonderful. I mean, it's got a great hand. You can see the modeling is very light, but it's beautiful. It's delicious. So there's that one. And let's move on here. So I've also got in this beautiful bag by Andrea is a project that I started to do with her. We were stitching along, and then I put it down and she took off and finished it. This is Harriet Goddard 1817. That long, skinny, narrow. It's so beautiful. It's by Hands Across the Sea. I'm a huge fan. I'm such a fan. And I am using the Victoria Clayton hand-dyed silks. And these are the silks. Let me see if I can show you. Aren't those pretty? Very nice. And on the fabric, I'm using, this fabric. one of my new favorites. Celeste Creates talks about tropical stitches. It is fantastic, this linen. This is a 40 count called Geo Vanilla. And I was on there the other day and didn't see this particular color, but they have, every color, every piece of linen I've gotten from Tropical Stitches is gorgeous. So again, very light modeling, and it's kind of a vanilla looking, well, Geo Vanilla. And that's where I am. So what I'm doing with this one, you can see I've done the top alphabet for the most part, and I'm coming down the side, and I'm almost to the bottom. I just finished him up, and I'm going to come across, and so I can cut my fabric off because I have so much of this on that side, and then the bottom as well. I have quite a bit. So 40 count, and these flosses on a 40 count are a dream. They're a dream to work with. So pretty. They're so soft. Anyway, that is Harriet. I gave her, I'd say about 2 days. And I actually worked on her in front of the TV the other night. I didn't seem to have a problem with it. You know, my eyes were okay, and off I went. Okay, let's see here. I've got stuff all over the place. So MMEW. This is something I've been working on forever. Thought I would have it finished by now, but you know, life gets in the way sometimes, and I squirrel around and start other things. I love this one. This is probably my favorite sampler that I've ever, can't say that I've ever done, but it's high up there. It's in the top 5 of all the samplers. Not like I've done a ton of samplers, but this would be up there. So this is by Samplers and Such, Rebecca Dory, and it's from the Wyndham collection. I got it, I think, on eBay, and I'm not sure if it's in print. I'm not sure about that, but let me show you where I am. The thing I love about it is it's kind of crazy. And I started this is on a piece of Lakeside Vintage Light Exemplar. This tells you how long ago, because I thought, oh, I'll just use this one. Now we know how hard it is to get Vintage Light Exemplar by Lakeside. It's got such a nice hand. It's so pretty. I have a crazy floss conversion. So I started off using what was called for and decided I wanted to change things. And so I have just changed things as I've gone. I have no idea, no rhyme or reason. I just grab the colors I like and go. So this is where I am on it. Oh my gosh. I can't even. This is fabulous. And I'm not saying that for me. It's just, I just love how crazy it is. I love the chickens and the goose or the duck. Oh gosh. Just everything. It's just the angels. So I've worked up clearly and gotten the angels and that center. I've done all the little motifs. I'm starting on the alphabet at the top, and I thought, oh, the alphabet is just going to go so fast after I get up there. Oh, maybe not. There's a lot of eyelet, and I think there's a lot of four-sided stitch, so there's still a lot to go. It's a long one. It's a biggie. But epic, beautiful. I just love it. Put a cat in there for my son. I'm probably going to put another cat in there. I have a corgi, which I might take it out and redo it because I have a different corgi pattern I might use. And then maybe put another corgi in there somewhere. It's just, oh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to stop saying that. There it is. I changed all the colors, so if you're interested, if you're doing it, I think everybody can get, if anybody wants to know what all of that crazy is, send me a message. And I'll try to answer my message. I don't always get my emails right away. You know, if you're on Instagram, instant message me is the best way. If you want to really want to get a hold of me, send me a message on Instagram. Oh, Instagram. My Instagram handle is @Trinkety. And I'll put that up here so you'll see @Trinkety. And it'll also be in the drop down if you want to contact me or follow me. Follow along. Moving on to this one. Inside this bag here, I have, and I made this. This is a Blackbird Designs applique from their book. I think it's Sweet Summer. I could be wrong about that. And I was stitching along with Olivia B. and Lori Textilist when they were doing their applique stitch along, and this was my one and only applique that I did. I have a lot of grand plans for that, but that one has kind of fallen by the wayside, the applique part of my life. And in that, I've got Scattered Seed Samplers, Catherine Dickinson, which I absolutely had to have and had to start, and thinking it would just go like that. But then I put it down. I'm doing this on a piece of 36 count Dusty Road by Seraphim with the called for silks, but I subbed out the red is a Soie Cristal, and it's number 2013, the red. Let me show you what it looks like on this Dusty Road. This is a beautiful, beautiful fabric by Seraphim. And I'm doing, if I don't say it, it's for the most part, I stitch one strand of floss over 2 linen threads on 36 and up. And if it's a 28 or 32, then I'm doing 2 strands. And these are the beautiful colors. So I just got the alphabet pretty much done, and I'm working down into the motifs. So now the fun things are going to happen. The fun things. But yeah, another one of those. Got to do it right now. Okay, we're at 45 minutes. I'm going to be editing. So in this bag, which is one of those bags, and I love these because these nest together quite well. Oh yeah. This is Florence Mary Dickinson, and this is another Hands Across the Sea, and I am following along with the cell on this. Look at that. Just the big rows, and I know a lot of people have finished this. I'm doing this on a piece of Lakeside Linen Vintage Pearled Barley in, what am I doing this on? 40? It's a 40 count. Tape. Okay, stop. And I'm using the Victoria Clayton silks. So convenient to get those silk packs, and affordable, and they're beautiful on a 40 count. And this is where I am. I was working on this morning. I've been doing quite a lot of this because it's just so nice and spring-like. And that's where I am. Love it on this fabric. So the stitch along is, I think, calling for, I'm ahead. I've kind of barreled ahead because I really needed some spring in my life. We've been having quite a lot of cold weather here in California, which we are all over the country for sure. We're not really used to it here. We had a freakish snowstorm here last 2 weeks ago. And I do love the cold. It's nice to have the cold, but we're ready for some flowers to pop in our garden. Yes, that's where I am on it. It is turning out nicely, and such an enjoyable stitch. It is wonderful. Gorgeous colors, and the flosses and the fabric are making me so happy. So this is still kind of I'm not ready to let it go. I probably should move into something else, but I'm having fun. So I might just stay with that for a while. This is going to be my new evening stitch that I have in my Teresa Kogut bag, and you've seen this a lot. If you've been watching my Flosstube, you've seen me talk about Rose Cottage Pin Keep, and this is by Stacy Nash. And this came out at market last year or year before, I think it was last year. And I'm doing this on a piece of 36 count. Picture This Plus Heartland with the call for flosses, but I do have one sub that I'll talk about in a second. And you can see it's kind of a nice goldy, modelly color. I finished up the roof last night, so this is going to be my new sit by the TV and stitch. It's pretty easy to work on. There's not a ton of fabric to wrangle, and I'm into that. For the house, there's just a couple of pieces, and then I move down to the bottom. There's a lot of fill in at the bottom. That is where these birds are. You can see going across there. But I just have that to do and a couple motifs around the house, flowers and such. So yeah, there's a ton of stitching. I have to say, it's a lot of stitching for a pin keep, right? But it's beautiful, and I've talked about it before. I made a mistake and put Stacy Nash's initials in there because that was on the pattern, and I didn't want to, make a mistake. So I went all the way through, and then I went, oh, put my initials here. So I put my initials, and wait, whose initials did I put over here? Oh, Stacy Nash. She's my new friend. So I'm going to leave it because I will know, and I think it's kind of interesting. And then I'm going to do other motifs probably for instead of initials there. I have a couple of things I've charted, like spools, snails, things. Oh, let's see what else. What do I want to have in my Rose Cottage? Maybe what's that called? A watering can, something like that. So I'm sure I can find little motifs that I can plug in there or chart something little for that. So that is back on the menu. I have been working on that. Okay, this one here, I wanted to get your opinion on. And I've seen other stitchers do this where they'll start something and then they'll go, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if this is working on the fabric. And here I am. I'm one of those stitchers. I never thought that would be me. I thought I would be like, oh, just push through and work on it. Which I might do, but we'll see. So this was loaned to me by a dear friend named Angie, who is on Instagram. I'll put her handle. Is a fabulous, prolific stitcher and was so generous as to let me borrow this. This is from Lila's Studio, Anna Oman, 1873. Gorgeous. So many people have done this. Oh, love it. And so I have a piece of Splendor Silk. Again, Splendor Silk. I love the red. And this is Rainbow Gallery S820 is the color. The piece of fabric that I have is Zweigart Edinburgh Linen. 36 count. It's called Days Gone By Silk Weaver. It's kind of a big piece that I picked out, but I thought it had an interesting modeling about it. But now I'm kind of having problems with how warm the fabric is. That's a pretty good representation right there. How warm that fabric is with the red. I like warm colors with like it would be good with a more muted tone, but I feel like red on a red, that's my problem with it right now. But I got quite a lot of that corner. Well, I got that corner done, and I was moving across, and then I just stopped. I thought, I don't know. Do I like it? So what do you think? Should I abandon or keep on pressing on and trust that the design is going to carry the piece and look great, and that the fabric is not going to bug me? It's probably going to be fine. I'm probably overthinking it. Your opinion matters. It's important to me. I think that is done. I think I'm done. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, where am I now? I'm at 47. Okay, let's see if I can zip through some haul. Probably not going to go through everything, but I'm going to show you a couple of things that I have that you probably have or were thinking about getting. So let's push into that. I was going to talk about crochet, but I don't know. So let's talk about the fabric, because fabric is always intriguing to me when I can find the fabric. I get it. That seems to be my missing link, is fabric. So one of the things I love is Russian tea cake. And it's by Legacy Linen. I got this on 1-2-3 stitch, and they were out of it for so long. I've done a couple of Hands Across the Sea samplers on this, and it's a very versatile, creamy, beautiful textured linen. And if you've worked on Russian tea cake, you know. If you have not, try it out. I think you'd really like it. It comes in it's a 37 count Russian tea cake. Now they make, Legacy Linen makes different counts. And it might be the same color, but it will be called something else. So I can't remember what a lower or higher count will be, but that's Russian tea cake. Love it. So I'm going to keep that aside so I can show you that in comparison with the 3 others I bought. I also got a piece of Tropical Stitches, and this one is a 40 count, and it is called Vintage. And I just happened onto the site, and this was available. And so I plucked it up. I grabbed it. It's beautiful. Is that reading? That's about what it is. Beautiful modeling. And the hand of the fabric is so nice. Oh, it's so pretty. She does a beautiful job. And I think I ordered on a Wednesday, and I had it by Saturday. It was fast shipping. I'm going to leave that out of the plastic so I can show you them all together. And then this one is a piece of Lakeside Linen, and I had put a notification to be notified from 1-2-3 Stitch when it came in, and dang, they got some 40 count straw by Lakeside Linen, and I couldn't click it fast enough to get it. It's very subtly modeled, very subtly modeled. It's almost like you don't see it, the modeling. And I'm going to hold this up with the other stuff in a second. It has a cooler tone to it than the Russian tea cake. And again, it's just super subtle and very beautiful. So got that one. And then my last piece of fabric, I woke up, I don't know, it was like divine, you know. It was very the spirit moving in me. I woke up Sunday morning, and the very first thing that popped into my head, I'm not kidding, was, I wonder if Rachel from Needle and Flax has any fabric. What? Why? I reached over and I grabbed my phone. This is like 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. And I'm like, boop, 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 boop. Oh gosh, she's got 40 count dirty teacup in stock. Boink! I'm getting up that half. What? I mean, what? So, because I can't tell you how many times I'll just like, okay, it's time to check Needle and Flax and see if she has any fabric that she's selling. And it's always like, no, sold out. So I just was in the right place at the right time. What can I tell you? So I got a piece, that half of dirty teacup that I have no idea what I'm going to use it for, but oh boy. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And it feels like I have Dirty Teacup in 36 and it doesn't feel like it's this model, but I'm telling you, this is fabulous. It's very like, the thing I love about needle and flax linen is it feels like every single piece is bespoke. It's all made directly for you. It's almost like no two pieces the same. For me, I mean, I love it. They all have their own little personality. The color is there, but it's just the modeling gives it a different feel. Woohoo! So, yes. So I feel like I'm doing my own little fabric club, and that once a month I'm going to buy a piece of fabric. I'm just going to try and find the fabric or have the fabric find me, as it were. So I'm going to put them all together so you can kind of see. So I've got the Russian tea cake. I've got needle and flax, the Dirty Teacup. This one is what is that? Oh, that's the Lakeside. Interesting. This is the Lakeside. Vintage straw flower. Okay, now it looks completely different to me, but it's not. I'm getting confused. Yeah, it is. It says straw flower. It doesn't say vintage straw flower. It just says straw flower, but it does have subtle modeling. Tell me if you think that's wrong. Anyway, and then this one here is the Tropical Stitches in Vintage. So those are my assortment. My husband would look at this and say, they're all the same color. I would say, are you crazy? They're all beige. No, they're all different. They all have their own personality. Okay, what else have I bought? Oh, I have wanted this forever. This is Agnes Lyle, 1832. I kept seeing people do it, and I've wanted to do it, and so I finally just went over there, got the PDF, printed it, and bound it. We have this little funky binder thingy. So I have no idea when I'm going to start it or what I'm going to stitch it on, but I want it to look just like that. And this is by Waltzed Iris Naps. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay. Let's just show a couple of things. Now, Market, interesting. I think it was the COVID. I didn't end up getting anything from Market, but what I really wanted, I wanted Beloved, which is by Running with Needles and Scissors. And I'll put a picture here. You've all seen it, I'm sure. It's got the beautiful bird. I really want to stitch it. I mean, it feels like I see the birds get stitched a lot. People love birds, and I love birds too. But I haven't really stitched just a bird focal point kind of piece yet. That's something I really want to stitch. So that's going to be making its way into my stash this year. Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery had a basket, and it was a spring basket. I'll put a picture here. It's beautiful. I'll put it over here. It's so pretty. But then I started to look through the other baskets that they have put out. And what I really, really loved was Betsy's Summer Basket. So I bought that. Where did I get it? I think it was on Etsy where I ended up finding this. And I think I bought most of the flosses that it calls for. There might be one or two that I need to get still. But I just love it. And I haven't obviously started yet, but that will be probably my next small start. This, I couldn't resist the Stacy Nash Animal Crackers line. I hadn't seen this one before, and I think it's so cute. Clementine, the kitty. That's quite a bit of stitching on her dress, but I think it's so adorable. So I want to do that. And I know it has like a little scissor in the back. Where did I get it? Probably Etsy. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Let's see, do I have it here? I do like to shout out. Okay. And a couple other books that I found. Now this was I found at the thrift store for, it was $1.99. Boy, whenever you see a Blackbird Designs book in the thrift store, don't you just like run and grab it? So this is actually for quilts, but it had an applique. Clearly it has some really pretty pieces in there. See, that's what I'm saying, is I have grand plans for applique. But they also have small cross-stitch and embroidery pieces that are cute. So you can find little things in there too to do. Rug hooking. I'd love it, but I can't do yet another craft. Buttermilk and Blue, Threads of the Civil War by Barbara Brackman and Carla Minaj. I don't know. I just loved it. I thought it was really pretty. I like those baskets. There's little ones like, there's a flag. See what I'm showing you. And then they have, I'll show you the back. They have little projects as well. There's a cross stitch that just says our flag. I can't show it to you because it's not, it's the chart. Anyway, pretties. So that, again, that was thrift store, I don't know, $2, something like that. This was not thrift store. This was a Christmas gift from our son-in-law, Austin. And this is Lucy Barber, Another Hands Across the Sea, which, oh boy, now you know I have fabric for it. It would look pretty on that needle and flax. I have a feeling that's what it's going to be. I haven't decided if I'm going to use DMC or get the Victoria Clayton silks or Soie de Jais. I don't know yet. But most likely it's going to be one of those. The thing about Hands Across the Sea samplers is the DMC conversions are spot on beautiful. They're gorgeous. So that may be what I use. I also found this on 123 Stitch, and I think Michelle Hudson, hi Michelle, if you're watching, I love you, was doing with Angie, hi Angie, the Tiny House Stitcher. Those ladies were, I think, doing a stitch along with this, so I had to get it and have not kitted it up yet, but I want to see if I can make it sparkly, and I want to do it on black. This was thrift store again, I don't know, a couple dollars. And this is a Blackbird Design Sweet Summer. Sweet Summer. And again, there's a lot of cool things in here. Applique. You can see it's just a beautiful book. Just the way it's set up. And quilting, applique, and a little bit of needle projects like pockets and needle book. So that was a fun find. So there's that. Okay, last but not least, I was part of what broke the internet, which was clamoring for the red box by Hands Across the Sea, Nicola Parkman, for her birthday. And I didn't plan on buying it. It was one of those situations where I thought it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. I went on and I thought, well, I'll just see if, I'll set my alarm for 4 o'clock and I'll just see. I'll just go on and take a look when it rings. So my alarm goes off. I go on there. I was ready and had the, website pulled up and refreshed, and it popped up. But it took a while. And I'm like, oh, there it is, the box. I'll put it in my cart. So I clicked the button to put it in my cart. That took a while. There was a little spinning thing for quite a while. And I was like, is it going to go in my cart? What's happening? So, what happened? Everybody wanted to get in on it at the same time, and it just kind of like overwhelmed that website. So eventually I got it in my cart, and then I went to pay for it, and again it took, I would say, 5 minutes or more for that payment to show that it had gone through. But when it did, I was like, whoa, I was going crazy. I was so happy. And I'm like, oh, what did I just do? I just bought this. Yes, I was so happy. Anyway, it came, and I'm sure if you're interested, Nicola Parkman did a beautiful unboxing of it, as well as a couple other people. And there are some wonderful, wonderful charts in here. I can't wait to start following along the journey. So the thing, I got my first, I've never had a mini McBean key, scissor fob. It's so cute. And this neat thing for my glasses. There's a really cool tea towel. And just packaging was beautiful. Just everything about it. It's just very thoughtful packaging, and the charts are wonderful. It's hard to decide what to stitch first, I'm telling you. I do kind of feel like stitching, the first one I opened was the Greek, and I did spend quite a bit of time when I was working on cruise lines in Greece, and so I felt like this would be a good start for me. Really pretty. So I got a lot of fabric, and I did get a big piece of 46 count. What is it? 46 count. I can't remember now. It's in my stash, but it's a really big piece I bought, so I could actually do quite a few of the samplers, if not all of them. They're not terribly big, I don't think. And so yeah, that was the last of my haul that I'm going to show today. I mean, I've got, other things I'm sure I'll be purchasing in the meantime. I'm trying to work from what I have for the most part. I didn't go crazy with Market, but that doesn't mean that I won't be getting a lot of the things that were released at Market. I'm hoping that I'll be filtering into my stash this year as well. I think that's going to wrap it up for me. I've been talking for over an hour. I'm going to have to edit this down a little bit, but I think that's where I'm going to end today. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you were stitching something fun and got to look up from time to time and see something that inspired you. And I just wish you many peaceful hours with your needle and your thread, and happy spring, or happy going into whatever season you're going into in the world. And I love you all. I love this community. Bye, everybody.